but I'll be over there after the front.
Auburn football. I mean,
He was disgusted all the way around.
Hard to correct.
I had a powwow with him saying a negative word. Old ass rock. No, not now. We could have won. Next week, they're as good as that. Yes. They're unreal. That's a big game. You ain't knowing that's about normal. Yes, he lost a bit. Hey, I'm getting worried about you.
God knows.
Oh, you gonna do it over there,
Yeah,
Dan?
I can do it.
It's gonna be on. Better check this out. Well, last week when I checked it, it was
Hey,
ooh.
well, it was catty corner.
Did y'all fix it?
I don't know if I had fixed it.
I didn't sure had.
I hadn't been up here. So,
You gonna ask him to call Moses and see if
point it toward there again. Georgia Tech game was crazy.
play this morning.
Yeah, just one. Last second, missed the zone.
What'd he do?
He just, I mean, he drove down through a pass, 4th and 19, completed 22. Get that drive runs up. Yeah, better. Yeah, he did.
Lot better. I thought last night was pretty good.
Jury's still out. I'll let you know it.
I ain't right talking about this.
I'm talking about overall football. I'm talking about we got one win against Toad. I mean, it's not something to get all overjoyed about.
Brett?
What did I tell you?
I know.
What?
I'm sorry,
I
Drew.
got him, I thought I had you down.
Test. Ooh, Brett, it's rough.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Hey. Headset up. You don't need to cut your volume up. Yeah, yeah. Well, how you going, guys? Hey, man, what's up? I'm loud. I'm too loud. You sound good. I sound good. Yeah, I sound. I can hear it. Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm kind of loud. That's better. Now up a little bit more. Up a little bit. Just a little bit. Right there. 1, 2. Yeah, that's better. That's better. You guys got 4 minutes. Hey, 1, 2. And Scott got over there, didn't he? 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. All right, brother. That's right, so we got Adam over. Hey, ask Justin Mosley if he messed with the camera and all, and we're trying to fix it. Anybody did. He asked you that. He'll probably call me. They lost this kid they have. They lost 2 really good. Nobody fixed it. Man, that looks great. I'm talking about the area possible. Hey, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Man, that was fine. What was the test? Test know what he sees. We just watched. We just all just did last Saturday. But it's a big squad. Yeah. Hey, pull that stupid issue. You can just stay over there. Pull that seat straight right there in front of me. I might do. If I'm not old, I'll sleep right there.
Two 256-234-6221. Now, let's join Brett, Randy, and Lou for the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Y'all are live. Take it when you want.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Randy Lee alongside Brett Pritchard this morning. Not too often that you and I are up here together, and excited to be doing this. What year is this for us, Brett, with this program?
Oh, man. Let me think back.
9?
It's got to be – it's either 9 or 10 for this one.
It's been a good ride. We enjoy doing this one.
Who's counting when you have fun, you know?
I enjoy doing it because we know our bread is buttered with high school sports here in the state of Alabama. And when you have Friday night football and you can come up here and do this from 10 to 12, a lot to talk about. And then we have a lot of fun talking Auburn and Alabama football along with the rest of the SEC. And today is about as perfect as you can get for that, because both of our programs here in the state have got big opening day matchups, and it's not only these two programs, Brett. It's a ton of programs out there here in the country, but we'll start with the high school blitz segment of the program here in the first hour, and we couldn't bring this or any of our programming to you without JR Sports Bar and Grill, so we want to thank them for being a part of our program. Call on them today. Call on delivery. Call on catering services. If you're heading out to your favorite team and heading out maybe here around the lunchtime to head over to Jordan-Hare Stadium, 256-329-2328 is their phone number, so make sure to give them a call. Brett, it was a good night last night. I thought our Wildcats got off the schneid, 42-21 victors over Pelham up in the Birmingham market, and I'll be honest, you look at that final score, it looks okay, looks good,
yeah.
But I saw a lot of talent, and I saw a lot of kids that showed some confidence that maybe was waning a bit in week one. It's always normal whenever you're getting your first start.
Well, I'm going to say this, and you don't make excuses. You lose last week by a field goal. You go up there to Central Clay, and you didn't play real well. I mean, let's just be honest, didn't move the ball. One thing that was eye-opening to me was what Coach Horn shared with me in the locker room. We had 16 negative plays. You're not going to beat anybody doing that. You had some opportunities to score that you missed. One of the things that you look at in that game is that you didn't play very well at all to open up the season, and you lose by 3. But Coach Horn did mention this. He said, next year we will have a jamboree game. We will play. And he said, not to say that would have made a difference in the game, but he felt like there were some things that we needed to have done against somebody else instead of ourselves that would have helped us. And he said, that's something that we're going to do next year. And he's already called around and pretty much got something lined up for that. And again, credit Central Clay. They put the ball on the turf 5 times against Munford and recovered 3 of them. So they did lose 2 fumbles. They didn't fumble. They didn't have a miscue against us in week 1. So they played a very good game. And I think there is some stock to be placed into a team that's already got a game under their belt versus a team that's coming out and hasn't, because we saw a vast difference in cramps last night for our team. We saw some guys move around in positions. I thought Timmy Lawson looked like 100 times more comfortable at quarterback. It's amazing what one game will do when you've never started before. So, I was impressed. I was pleased with the way the team played. And as you mentioned on the broadcast last night, that was pretty good, but not great by no stretch. And there's a lot of things that you can work on and improve after you win 42-21. So that's a very positive thing to take into film study today.
It was more of what I thought we were last night. It really was. I think that early in the season we had 14 penalties in the first half, and we earned most of them. And a lot of it was ticky-tack.
Yeah.
Jump off sides. I mean,
illegal
neutral
shift.
Zone, legal shift, stuff that you can clean up and stuff that's normal with new quarterbacks and new offensive linemen in play as well, new receivers. A lot of new pieces. This group last year, and it's a good segue into just talking about a few of those kids, and then we'll come back to this year's team. But this group last year was special. They played a key role for the last 3 seasons leading in. When you talk about a Tay Robinson, who is now at Union, played last week for his first college football game and was the conference player of the week defensively. When you have a kid that was on your high school team last year that within 1 year can go off to the college ranks and be the conference player of the week in week 1, the first time he takes some snap, he's been special. He's a 2-time All-Stater, sophomore, junior year. I don't know how in the world he didn't get it as a senior. I don't know. They must have fell asleep at the wheel to not pick him then. We've got Trey Edwards. Trey's over at Jacksonville State. I'll let you give a little update on Trey. But Trey, it looks like exactly what we thought. Wherever he ends up, he's going to play football.
Sure. He's a hybrid guy that I thought really fits the college level perfectly because he can play linebacker and he can play some safety. Is the size and the speed allows him to do a lot of things. He can play a lot of hybrid positions. Alabama runs a hybrid position on their defense, and Trey is at Jacksonville State, and it looked like he was going to redshirt, but all the indications now with the way he's impressed in camp is that they're not even going to redshirt him now. They're going to go ahead and get some playing time out of him now. And that's just the kind of kid he is. That's the kind of kid Tay Robinson is. We'll see later on today, Tyree Gray is going to play a lot against Illinois at 2:30 on the Big Ten Network. What a great team to start out with. I mean, Illinois is no world beater. They're a lower-tier Big Ten team. Murray State goes out. I'm sure they've got some more Tyrees on their team, type players that were overlooked that they're able to go out and recruit. And, man, and who knows? I think he's going to show out today. He embraces that stage in the lights and being able to get out in front of that crowd. And I just can't imagine for him the feeling it's going to be to get on that field today. And, man, when he gets in between those lines, it's all football. It doesn't matter what level.
They got a quarterback from the Montgomery area, KD Humphreys.
That's right.
He is the number 6 overall NFL quarterback prospect coming out in the draft this upcoming year. They didn't have a great season winning-wise, but most of the problems were on the defensive side of the ball because they lit it up.
They scored
and
points.
They throw the football around a lot. And Brett, that's a big thing when you're Tyree. If you know that you're going to get the touches. I go back to a kid that's over at Samford right now that we've seen, T.D. Marshall. Marshall was recruited, and Tennessee had him. Same night Tennessee struggling, I thought it was pretty funny that the first game that T.D. Marshall plays at Samford, he has 14 receptions and a touchdown. First game. And Tennessee just kind of let him go.
Yeah.
Well, and really did it in a kind of a
tacky
way. So one other player that we can talk about, Jacob Rogers. Jacob is an invited walk-on there at Auburn. Congratulations to him.
He'll dress today.
He goes out, he makes the team, and I'm not shocked at all because Jacob is one of those that if you're going to test, if you're going to look at his size, and then you're going to allow him to go out there and run a 40, allow him to jump, you want to give this kid an opportunity. And I thought the way that he advanced his play between his junior and senior season shows me that if he's given an opportunity at Auburn with athleticism that he has, that he's God-given, that Jacob, don't be surprised if you don't see him playing for Auburn at some point.
No, I agree with you. Early on, as you see most freshmen that come in, they'll get an opportunity to get on the field, maybe as a special teamer. He's a great look for that. You never know where he might pop up, and if you all you can ask for is an opportunity. Jacob has an opportunity now. It'll be up to him to work, and I feel like he'll put all the time and effort in the world in that he needs to go out and be successful. So, but we've run down 4 or 5 players. We could run down 10 more. I mean, we can just sit there and list a Rodney Carroll, a Chase Burton, a Sean Rape. I mean, all these guys that have moved on, a Daniel Bland, and Anthony Parker. I mean, I just keep going. It is rare at any level, at a Hoover, at anywhere, that you can run down as many dynamic players on a football team as we had. That's exactly why we were in the 4th round of the playoffs last year and one of the top 4 teams in the state. And we all know, and we've rehashed this. I think I rehash it every week. You're up 27-10 on a team that never loses at home. And, I mean, we were taking it to them. Credit Spanish Fort for figuring out a way to come back and win the game. But that team was made up of nothing but superb kids, first of all, and then superb athletes. And then when you put that combination together and that work ethic and that type of leadership, they didn't have just 1 or 2 leaders. I mean, they had like 20 leaders on that team, and that makes that team special.
And I think that's the reason that we just brought all of that up to come back to this year and to say that week 1 is not surprising.
That's right.
When you have a bunch of A personalities that are leaders and you're in the class below them, it's hard to find your identity, and you got to understand. You got to put yourself. It's easy to go out there as
that's big brother's gone to college. You look up now, and he's not there anymore.
I mean, it's to be expected, and I felt like last night, and not only some of the seniors, but I'm gonna bring up one that I know I said his name a million times last night, but I'm a little bit blown away because I didn't know what to expect coming into this year. But I'm thrilled for Jaden Tuck and his family the way that he's playing, and not only that, I'm thrilled for the way he handles himself out on the field. Mm-hmm. Because he handles himself the way that I think would make his family and him proud.
Yeah.
And it makes us as high school football fans proud to go out there and watch a kid that I think's just got a motor out of this world. He's also got a high IQ. Playing the option is not easy.
No.
It's very easy to get dinked and dodged into what they're wanting you to do. But he held his ground last night. We named him our defensive player of the game last night. Of course, and we'll get over to Nicole here in a minute. We named him our offensive player of the game. But last night and last week, he turned my head. And if we were looking for a kid that I think's got the potential and I think's got the work ethic to have some really good looks and outstanding next couple of seasons, I hope Jaden keeps his work ethic up and he keeps doing what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, he will. I know his mother really well. Crystal teaches alongside Kim at Jim Pearson. They're partners at Jim Pearson, and Kim's watched Jaden grow up, and Crystal's done a tremendous job raising Jaden and in that family, and just what a great kid he is. Before we go to break here as the music plays, on the way to Central Clay, you and I were talking about players to look forward to this year, who we're going to see. And Jaden Tuck's name was one of them, and we were anxious to see what his role would be on this team. And I can say through 2 games, it's been tremendous.
We'd love to hear from you, 256-234-6221, 256-234-6464 as well, as we're going to continue High School Blitz segment of the program for the first hour. Brett, of course, and I were over at Pelham for Benjamin Russell, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in the second segment. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Y'all are clear.
Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Buy.
5 seconds. Y'all are live.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Randy Lee alongside Brett Pritchard. Got about an hour and 45 minutes left. We'll take your phone calls today, 256-234-6464.
You know, we've been waiting for college football all year, and we'll get into college football in the second hour. And everybody's like, man, I'm waking up this morning, all these games. Well, if you're just now waking up, you're late. They've already played one over in Dublin, Ireland, and Georgia Tech defeated Boston College. And I just got to bring this up. They scored with, I think, 40 seconds to go. Justin Thomas, a little option pitch to a true freshman running back. It's going to be real good for Georgia Tech. But it's Georgia Tech football. They're just not very good offensively. But Boston College now tried to get off the snide. Didn't win a conference game last year in basketball or football. And they lost again the last second. I mean, it's just you get in these funks, man, and you wonder if you can ever win again. And right now, Boston College led the whole game. And then they lose right there at the end. It's just a mentality, man. And Georgia Tech had to convert a 4th and 19, Randy, with 2 minutes to go. They had no timeout. So if they don't make that first down, game's over. Justin Thomas steps back and throws a pass for 22 yards and a first down. They move on down the field and score. That's the thing that breaks your will. And it's similar. We'll talk about Auburn. That was kind of what Auburn's mantra was last year. You know, you got somebody right there and you just can't get off the field. But we'll talk about that later. But I just want to let everybody know that if you think you haven't missed anything in college football yet, you're late because they've already kicked off. Kicked off at 6:30 this morning, Central Time.
Great night last night. I want to start with Timmy Lawson. And, of course, Timmy was with us a little bit this summer down at Lee Marketing Group. I feel like it's a little bit personal at this point. Grew up with his dad, and his dad's a good friend of ours and just a tremendous athlete here. But last week was tough. First snap he's ever taken. And I've had a number of people come up and say, well, you know, how did Timmy do? I said, to be expected. I mean, you get thrown out there in the fire for the first time. Wasn't it wonderful last night? Opening play, first possession, fake the give to Nicole and go 80 yards around the left end for the touchdown. I want to run out there and give him a big high five myself. It was a wonderful thing to watch, and I know that it takes a lot of pressure off when you're able to make a play like that, doesn't it?
It does. You know, and one thing I've noticed, obviously, getting Timmy off to a great start like that, man. You know, you still have last week in the back of your mind until something good happens for you in the next game, and you know, it happened really quickly. I know it didn't happen in 3 seconds like the clock said. I looked up and it said 11:57. I said, I know Timmy's fast. He didn't run 80 yards in 3 seconds. But he did run down and score that touchdown. So now you've erased all of what happened last week. Now you're thinking this week like, man, I'm in good shape. And you can see the confidence build for Timmy after that. I want to give credit to that offensive line a little bit. Last week they had their struggles. There's no doubt about it. And they made some good plays here and there. You know, the left side of the offensive line was able to spring Nicole against Central Clay. Well, it was off that left side again this time that you know, the play was called. Timmy hit the hole and scored. So that offensive line, you know, replacing a lot of great kids that were up there, and now some new guys are having their turn. They're just now getting used to it and getting their feet on the ground. And, you know, Carter and Jordan are the only two returning guys that played last year. That offensive line is going to get better as the year goes on, and I saw a lot of positive things out of them last night.
I definitely agree with that. Moving over, staying with the quarterback position, Landon Cotney. He was a story last week, but this week we got to see more of him. And Landon's only a sophomore, 5'11", 160 pounds. I told a couple of people in here this morning he's got the look of a kid that is going to have ideal size for a high school quarterback in a couple of years, and right now he already looks the part. But, Brett, you can't replace a little moxie and a little confidence and just a sharp kid. And it shows. When you're in that position, you can't hide it.
Yeah.
You're either confident, know what's going on, know where the ball needs to go, or you don't. And it shows. And last night, Landon in the wishbone package, 4 for 4 throwing the football, about 85 yards, hit Tyler Watts on a flag pattern for a 21-yard touchdown pass, sat in the pocket, took a hit on that one. He's got me a believer already.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you definitely wouldn't look down on the field and think he's a sophomore. I mean, just if you were showing up at the game and didn't know any of the kids and didn't have a roster, you're like, man, that guy looks like he's a senior. And that's the confidence that he plays with. And you can't coach that. You can't instill that in somebody. It has to already be kind of an innate characteristic, and that's why he's playing quarterback, and that's why he's got a bright future.
Colby Maxwell's who we'll close with on Benjamin Russell, who were 42-21 victors over Pelham last night, 25 carries, 132 yards, and 4 touchdowns. It's what we'll see more of as the season progresses. He got stronger as the game went on. Brady looks like a college guy.
He is a college guy.
He is a big old beast of a man at this point.
Yeah.
He's put on another 15 or so pounds. The strength is there. I think the explosiveness is there as well. I don't know. There can't be many better. Let's just don't kill ourselves. There's no way there can be many better out there.
I mean, I just don't see how. I mean, I know the kid at Hillcrest Tuscaloosa gets a lot of attention, and he's playing for a team that's going to be really good and is going to have a very good record this year. And I mean, I feel like Nicole is right there with him, and if not, maybe have some characteristics that may be a little bit better. I know Brian Robinson's a big kid, and he can run the football for Hillcrest. I've seen him in person, but I mean, Nicole, I wouldn't trade him for anybody. And in a year where Luke and I have talked about running backs, he and Robinson are the top 2, in my opinion, in the state. And I think obviously Robinson is highly touted and recruiting services all over him. Nicole's starting to garner a lot of that too. And I've seen some of the mail that's come in for him from colleges all over the country, and that they just don't send that to somebody out of generosity. There's a reason they're interested. I think this year is going to be special, and he may prove more this year on a team that maybe is a younger team that's a little bit more raw than a team that was as polished as last year, because he's still running for 150 plus every night, and he's scoring multiple touchdowns. And he is the show back there in the backfield. And he and Tyree last year rushed for over 1,800 yards apiece. This year, it's going to be a special year. I look forward to seeing how he'll end up at the end of the season. I think he gets a nod to the Alabama-Mississippi game, and I think that's where he's going to be able to really showcase in front of all that talent on the Mississippi and Alabama side. If he can get in that game, I think you're going to see a difference maker in what he is.
5 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks, about 310 yards rushing the football, and every team we're playing, including last night, are keying on him.
They are.
I mean, all 11 players are pointing to him when you come out of the huddle, and he's still able to fight, and I think that the offensive line will just get better. We're going to take another break, Brett. We come back, going to run down the rest of the local region. On our next segment, close out with statewide coverage of high school football, move into the second hour where we'll talk about Auburn and Alabama a lot more, and we'll take your predictions today. Let's make a prediction on Sports Blitz, and we'll throw that out there on social media for Alabama and USC. Passing yards for Cooper Bateman. Why don't we try that? You want to talk about
there you go.
A wild card. Cooper Bateman passing yards will be the tiebreaker. 256-234-6464. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Y'all were clear.
from Dadeville High School, the play-by-play announcer for the Dadeville Tigers. And Kevin, first of all, welcome in this morning. Appreciate you taking some time out of some errand running this morning to be on the show.
No problem, guys. Anytime.
Well, last night, Dadeville takes on Munford. It was homecoming, and Munford wasn't a very hospitable homecoming opponent for the Dadeville Tigers as they come down and win 35-24. And so I'll just kick it over to you, Kevin, and kind of let you give a recap of how that game went down last night.
Okay. Yeah, Dadeville had its chances to win the game. We were in position to win the game. Couldn't close the deal. Started off, Munford wins the toss, and they receive the ball, and we stop them. And we take the ball down on a good-looking drive, go up 6-0, extra points, no good. So, feeling real good about this thing. Well, they come back, and they just basically own us, that drive, and they go up 7-6. Well, we scored 2 more times. We get 12 unanswered points. Neither one. We went for 2 one time and tried another extra point and missed it. So the score at half was Dadeville 18 and Munford 7, and kind of had them back on their heels. We come out, we received the ball first, second half. So, as me and Freddie was talking, if we get 2 more scores, 3 for sure, we win this game. So all we got to do is match what we did in the first half. Well, Munford scores 2 unanswered, and they go up 21-18, which, we had all the momentum coming out. It looked like by the Munford's body language as they were getting close to throwing in the towel, but all of a sudden, they turned it around and knocked the breath out of us. So we're behind, and we got the ball on our own 3. It's raining now. It's done got messy. Well, the snaps are hard to handle, and we're bobbling the ball. Well, Margaris Buchanan drops the ball in the end zone, scoops it up, and by this time, all the Munford defenders had, corralled him. Well, Devin Johnson is on the 15-yard line with nobody near him, and Margaris is able to just toss it out to him, and he takes it 97 yards. So Tigers go back on top. And we had another play just like that along the way, and we got hit about the 13, and we lost the ball, and it, being wet as it was, didn't roll out of bounds. We were on the far sideline. The ball just sticks like a 9-iron shot. Munford picks it up and takes it back to the 10. Now, there was an unsportsmanlike penalty on the sideline, so it did bring it back to the 25, and then Munford scores 2 more times to take the victory. But a very entertaining game. Just Tigers couldn't close the deal, Brett.
Yeah, it does sound like it. It sounds like a lot of back and forth. And, football is a funny sport. And, Dadeville had that 18-7 lead at halftime, and you would think, homecoming and just that energy and the body language, like you said, for Munford, you would think that Dadeville had them right where they wanted. But, credit a gritty team like a Munford that has shown that they're one of the top-tier teams in the state, that they're never down and out, and they fought back to take the lead. But then Dadeville comes back, fights back, takes the lead, and, it was a back-and-forth affair. And that's what you're going to do, and that's what you're going to get when you play good football teams. And that's what people look at when they see Dadeville on the schedule, is that they know they're going to get a fight. And when you look over and see the teams that y'all are playing, you're going to have to play for 4 quarters. That's one thing that I've noticed with our Benjamin Russell team, Kevin, is that we've come out 2 weeks in a row now in the third quarter, and the other team has really controlled the game in the third quarter. Now, we played a lot better this week in the second half and won the fourth quarter and ended up winning the football game. But you have to maintain that same intensity coming out of the locker room into the second half, or good teams will take advantage of it.
Yeah, no doubt. And that was worth the replay, watching the replay. That was a very entertaining game, fun game to call. It rained most of the second half. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, we've got to put 4 quarters together, and we better get it straightened out this week because the big green wave from Leeds is going to come to Tallapoosa County Friday night.
Yeah, and, Leeds with a 48-14 win over Elmore County. Obviously, Keith Etheridge is not there any longer as the head coach for Leeds, and he did a really good job of building up a great program there for the Green Wave. But I'm not saying that they don't miss Keith Etheridge, but it doesn't look like it score-wise that this team and this program has got a mentality. They've got several state championships under their belt in the last several years. So Dayville has proven, though, they can beat Leeds, and they've done it the last few years, and they're not afraid. Leeds doesn't intimidate Dayville whatsoever. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that Leeds-Dayville game matches up, because I remember having you on the show. It was either last year or the year before, and Dayville was coming off a loss, I believe, and then Leeds comes to town, and Dayville sticks it to them and gets a big win. And I wasn't expecting – I wouldn't be shocked at all if that happened this coming up Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen their scores, Brett, but my goodness, it tells you the caliber of players they're getting to choose from, because they lost to Darryl Marshall, they lost Trey Nation, the great guys on defense. Man, they lost a load, but it's kind of like Dayville was 4, 5, 6 years ago. It didn't matter. We grab another kid out of the hallway and throw him out there, and he was good too. So, but Leeds is one of the bigger 4A schools. Not making excuses, but that helps when they've got 110 more kids to choose from.
Oh, of course,
man, the caliber of kids they got is something. I mean, it's going to be something to see for sure.
Yeah, it will. And again, tough loss last night for Dayville, but Kevin, I know it's been a tough start to the season for Dayville, but with their schedule, I mean, you look at the teams that you guys have played, and at 1 and 2 right now, but with losses to 2 very good football teams and 2 close games. I mean, I know Lafayette, ended up stretching it out there toward the end, but Dayville playing 2 very good football teams. And look, you and I have been known to say this on this show several times. I'd rather cut my losses in the season and cut my teeth against some teams that are really good and that are going to be playoff contending teams, and learn from that and grow and get better throughout the year and get into the playoffs, because that experience is so much more beneficial than if you were playing a bunch of cream puffs. And I know Dayville having these hard-fought games, eventually some of those are going to go their way, and they'll have that experience to carry into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's just you got to suck it up, right, man, see what you're made of.
No doubt about it, man. I think it's a gut check time for a lot of people at this time of year to see what you're made of and see what type of team you're going to have. Well, Kevin, we appreciate you as always. Look forward to having you on again next week to recap Dayville and Leeds.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Thanks so much. Have a good Labor Day weekend. And we'll take another break here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. When we come back, Randy and I will run down scores from throughout the area, a little bit of a altercation that took place at Horseshoe Bend, or at the Horseshoe Bend game last night, Horseshoe Bend on the road with them and Lynette. We'll recap that and talk about some other scores from around the state of Alabama. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown coming your way right after this.
Y'all are clear.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems for zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
Hey, this is Billy Robbins with Kowaliga Fireplace. We offer residential gas piping, sales, service, and installations of great products like America's Greatest Grill, the Holland Grill, the Cajun Cookers by R&B Works, Gas Logs by R.H. Peterson, and Superior Hearth Products. Hot water by Renai Tanker. We refill propane cylinders and motorhomes. 20-pound cylinder refill for just $12. Our summer hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. Come by Kowaliga Fireplace at 8228 Kowaliga Road, or give us a call at 334-857-2308 or 334-415-5724.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com for your local branch to discover the US AmeriBank difference. US AmeriBank, banking on values. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses only the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years, and he has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question. 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control.
He said Chad walked away from that guy. Big for him is I just imagine him just clocking that guy.
Hey, Brett.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you guys come back on air, we got a caller on the line.
Got a caller on the line. Maybe it'll be about this. Okay.
He actually wants to give out his prediction.
Yeah, I did. Do what?
He wants to give out his prediction.
Okay, all right.
Experience and knowledge for the pros. Building supply.
30 seconds to intro.
Better get a sheet or something.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at ice. We treat you nice. Ice Motors. So many choices, new and used.
Got the right shirt on. You're trying to look like me, aren't you?
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at ice.
What's that?
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
5 seconds. Y'all are live.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Randy Lee alongside Brett Pritchard. 256-234-6464 is our phone number as we're live on location at JR Sports Bar and Grill as we are each and every Saturday from 10 to 12. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
Yes, guys. How y'all doing? Football season is ready.
It is. And
this is. Yeah, I just want to comment on my hometown boys. Y'all know I'm from Lafayette, Alabama. Seem like they gonna make. Seem like if they stay healthy the way they are, I believe they're gonna make history for Lafayette. I mean, I see them. I'm looking at the schedule. I don't know much about the rest of them, but I think it's gonna come down between Lafayette and Lynette, whoever win that region, because they play at the end of the season. And I mean, Whitlow, he is a man that's gonna break all kind of records there in Lafayette, as far as I know. I mean, when I was there, we went like 8-2, 7-3. I mean, you know, but we ain't never went too far in the playoffs. I believe if they just believe in themselves and just stay healthy, I believe the Bulldogs is the real deal this year.
I think you're right, Jerome, and this Whitlow kid is special. He's starting to garner a ton of attention, not only in this state but nationally. Brett was able to see him up close and personal last year in basketball, was blown away with him in basketball last year, and this year is just some of the same, Brett. I'm glad Jerome brought that up because we're probably hearing more about what – it's a little bit like Tyree last year. Everywhere you went, somebody wants to bring up Tyree and his explosiveness. Everywhere I go, even in the Lake Martin region, Alexander City's wanting to talk about Whitlow.
Well, y'all know I've been keeping up with them more this year because the way they played last year, and they said he was coming back this year. So, I mean, the line looks good. I mean, I went and seen them when they played Dable. I mean, we started out playing kind of sloppy a little bit. I guess the first game you do kind of play a little sloppy. And he kind of got hurt there right before halftime. But, I mean, like they was talking about here a while back, I said I wish they would just play him offense and don't let him get hurt, because if he gets hurt, Lafayette might go down. But, I mean, you know, I think we got a couple other guys that in there that can do good. But, I mean, he seemed like he pepped them up, and I pepped them up, too, when I go down there and holler for him because, you know, like I said, I'm the class of 1980, and but I'm going to get my prediction on Alabama. I say Alabama's going to win 34 to about 17, and they got to get about 150-something yards passing total yards.
Jerome, thank you so much for the phone call, buddy.
I'm going to listen to y'all, and like I say, roll tide.
Thank you so much. 256-234-6464. Our prediction here on Sports Blitz today is Alabama and USC. Cooper Bateman, passing yards, will be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, Whitlow is a kid that, we've already seen some highlights from him. But, I brought this up last Saturday, and Lafayette's in a unique position right now. They won the state championship in basketball. I do believe they'll repeat this year. I don't know how. I don't see anybody beating them as dominant as they were in high school basketball in their classification. They can win this 2A championship in football. I mean, there's some good teams in 2A. Elba won the 2A championship last year. I didn't see anybody at Bryant-Denny last year that made me go, well, man, that Lafayette team can't hang with that. I mean, when you got a guy in 2A football, 1A, 2A, 3A football, one that's that dynamic, man, that plays defensive end, that plays safety, that kicks off, that punts, that kick returns, punt returns, plays quarterback. I think he throws it to himself sometimes at receiver. I mean, he's a phenomenal player. And Lafayette, in the way they're beating people, they can go the whole distance. This kid doesn't lose any mojo in the fourth quarter. He looks fresh in the fourth when everybody else looks tired. He's very similar to N'Kobe we talked about last night for Benjamin Russell. He's a guy you just wish would go away, man. You're tired, you're worn out, and here comes this bull again, and he's pounding you, and eventually he's going to break one like N'Kobe did last night. So Whitlow, a tremendous, tremendous player. Lafayette's very, blessed to have somebody like that. It's going to be interesting to see. Lynette, on the other hand, last night, they are another team that's very good in that region, but I hate to see what happened last night, and I know we're getting close to a break, but we'll go ahead and start talking about this and carry on over. And we've had some people tell us a little bit about what went on. Obviously, you and I didn't see any of it other than what was posted on Facebook last night on the way home from Pelham, but we've heard recaps. I don't like that in high school football.
Give everybody. Have you already given everybody a chance?
I haven't.
Some people probably don't have a clue what you're talking
about.
Lynette
and Horseshoe Bend last night. And Horseshoe Bend played tremendous. I mean, this is a Horseshoe Bend team that's showing some real fight and grit this year, and a lot of people felt like they could win 6, maybe 7 games on this schedule. And then after watching or hearing what we heard last night and seeing what the score was at halftime and how good knowing Lynette is this year, Randy, this team could win 6 or 7 games coming down the stretch. They've got a tremendous player in Drew Hill, and they got some kids that are really, really good. But Lynette is one of the teams that's favored to win that region. They're very talented. They were in a dogfight at home last night against Horseshoe Bend. And at the end of the game, we were told that Lynette was throwing the football through a touchdown pass late in the game, less than 2 minutes to go, went for 2. And then lined up and kicked an onside kick. And, there's just no call for that in any level of sport. I mean, the game was over. Horseshoe Bend was on defense. They were down 15 points. There was no need to try to throw the ball into the end zone. There was no need to try to go for 2. And that just showed – and, it's a reflection on your school and everything that goes on. So I hate that. It ended up in a bad situation, Randy. It ended up in a brawl on the field. And I hate it for – all the kids involved, because adults have to be the better person, and they have to step up and be leaders and role models for these kids. And there were some fisticuffs that went on out there. I don't have all the details. I haven't seen any up close footage, but the word is the HSAA has requested video footage from anybody that has it, and rightfully so. And there'll be some consequences to this. We've seen it in the past with Walker and Coleman. We've seen it in the past with other schools around the state. And there's been people that, they get punished, and rightfully so, because you're dealing with a situation where you're dealing with high school kids and situations where kids are getting beat up on the field. It's not good. It's just not a good ending to last night.
We'll close out the High School Blitz segment of the program. In the next segment, 256-234-6464 is the phone number. If you want to go ahead and start getting your prediction in for Alabama and USC, we'd love to hear from you out there. Tiebreaker, passing yards for Cooper Bateman. A little of a wild card out there for Alabama. Who knows who's going to end up taking the majority of the snaps? We've seen it the last 2 years with Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban, though. It's a pluck and plug at this point and continue with the success that they've had. Let's go ahead and take another break, Brett. When we come back, we'll finish out the high school Blitz segment. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Y'all were clear.
Yeah, I didn't worry about it.
Okay.
Because you're messing with the nobody.
Yeah, that's true. Which frame is that over there? We did that.
Wouldn't be getting that.
Blitz Nissan is laying it all on the line. The lowest prices, the biggest rebates, the best deals of the year. The bottom line is the bottom line sales event is on now at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. Save now with our best prices of the year on new 2016 Nissan Altimas, Maximas, Rogues, Muranos, and Pathfinders with 0% financing for 72 months and make no payments for 90 days. Upgrade today with 0% financing for 72 months and no payments for 90 days. At Lynch Nissan of Auburn, I-85 and exit 51. Online at lynchnissan.com. Offer valid with approved in-mac financing.
With over 40 years of combined experience, SignSource is the premier sign supplier for Central Alabama. From illuminated and monument signs for your business to banners, car wraps, or political yard signs for the individual, SignSource can do it all. We specialize in designing sign concepts that get results. Contact us today at 256-825-0197 or on the web at signsourcenow.com. Go straight to the source.
Hey, Adam.
SignSource.
Alex City Marine is already having a tremendous sales season of Landau pontoons, and with so many new boats sold, our used inventory is huge. Alex City Marine works on any make and model.
Hey,
no matter
did anybody go do the horseshoe bend game last night? Did anybody
Alex
call?
City Marine is taking order for custom 17 Landau pontoons
You didn't
now,
do it,
and
did
new
you?
16s are arriving weekly. For the best repair, service, maintenance, and sales on new and used boats, go to the pros the locals know.
Someone
Alex
I think is
City
going to be
Marine,
picking
just
up
off
the
Highway
footage.
280.
Somebody
Online at
had, that's right.
alexcitymarine.com.
John said that they're taking the
JR
school
Sports
footage.
Bar and Grill is the place where everyone knows your
Yeah,
name.
I think they're
JR's
taking
on
audio.
Alabama
They
Street in
gotta have some
Alex City
audio
has it all. Whether a family night out, a quick bite for lunch, or watching the big game, JR's staff will be serving up the best
Hey, have you
wings,
guys heard
tenders,
about Tim?
burgers, and steaks. Have
Do what
JR's
now?
cater any size
any of you
event, or
guys
just
heard
call
from Tim,
JR's
like,
and they'll
the
deliver it
last
to your
producer
door.
table?
Whether you're just visiting or live around the corner, join your friends at JR's
just thought I'd
Sports
ask.
Bar and Grill in Alex City, where everyone knows your name.
Passion,
1 minute to intro.
pride, determination, redemption.
Oh, I look good too. Don't worry. I had that one on the slate to talk about.
The Auburn Tigers return Saturday, September 3rd on Kowaliga Country, 97.5.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp.
30 seconds
In
to
our
intro.
office, we see many cases where drinking and driving has led to auto accidents and serious injuries. Teenage drinking and driving causes thousands of preventable deaths each year. Parents, please help by taking steps to discourage your teen from ever drinking and driving, and by making sure that they understand the dangers involved.
This message
10
brought to you
seconds to
by
intro.
personal injury attorney Dane Sharp, located at 134 North Broadnax Street in Dadeville, Alabama. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys. This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's big green egg and accessories headquarters.
5 seconds. Y'all are live.
Other scores from around the area. Reeltown gets off the schneid. Big win last night, 42-6 over Woodland. Chelsea takes down Wetumpka 35-28. Sets up a big matchup with Benjamin Russell next week here at home. First home game and a very a very big game for both of those programs as Chelsea's undefeated and Benjamin Russell needing a victory against a team that I feel like's an equal, solid matchup for us, and need a lot of people out next week, Brett.
Well, that's a team that we've been able to handle pretty easily. We've been able to score a lot of points the last few years against them, and they've been able to score some points on us, but they haven't been able to keep up with us offensively. They know that they're coming in with a hot hand and trying to jockey for position in this region to solidify a lead up there at the top. So we'll have our hands full with a team that's very good and very talented and got a big win last night.
Tallahassee defeats Hanley 21-12, leads over Elmore County 48-14. Parks Crossing takes down Stanhope Elmore. Before we close out the high school,
I haven't won a game in 2 years.
It's impossible not to talk about Prattville. What happened to Prattville last night? Who would have ever thunk it? Who would have thunk it a decade ago that Prattville would be down to anybody in the country?
47
to nothing at the half. They lose last night 50-14, which all that tells you is
they just
Enterprise decided I'm not going to embarrass them any worse.
Yeah.
When you only kick a field goal in the second half. Don't kid ourselves. You get 47 in the first, there's some more left in the tank.
That's right.
Are you as shocked as I am? It's got to the point it has.
You know, it's hard to be real critical, you know, in high school because, you know, you got a lot of coaches and you know, guys that, you know, they're doing what they can, and you don't know all the variables and the situations that are going on. We know that Prattville was one of the premier programs for forever. That was a good rival between them and Hoover. That seemed like they always met up in the state championship game every year. But for whatever reason, you know, it's just not working out. And Chad, you know, Chad Anderson goes over from Wetumpka. He is a Prattville alum, so he gets to go back to his school and be the head football coach. But, man, it's just not working out right now. And there's just sometimes you look and say there is no reason ever at this particular school that you should be down 47-0 to anybody. So I don't know if the players aren't bought in, if what the deal is down there, but it is shocking. But I'm as shocked with Stanhope. They hadn't won a game in 2 years, man. I mean, they didn't win last year.
No, they won a couple of games last year.
I didn't think they won any games
Russell
last
County.
They must have won at the end of the year because they were they were 0-7 or 0-8 going. They must have won the last few games. But anyway, regardless of that, my apologies for overstepping there. They've won 2 ball games in 2 years. Let's just say that. What has happened? And I talked to the principal, and I've talked to the superintendent at Elmore County, and I know for a fact when we went down there last year, they had lost the last 5 games of the previous year, and they had lost the first 5 of that year. So, I mean, you're looking at in the last 2.5 years for Stanhope, that's a community that's always been very prideful in their program. And also, yeah, it does make you scratch your head and wonder why programs do what they do. But in high school, man, it's a fickle sport. It really is.
I think they'll get that right, and they'll get it right soon. It's just going to take the right coach, the right hire.
Another shutout last night.
And, Brett, with the athletes that they have there, it's a compelling program to go to. And you know that maybe they've got their eye on someone. I'm not going to say any names.
Yeah, this is right. That's right.
If they get that certain someone, or if they get a few of those that are even like this guy that I've got in my mind right now, they'll be winning. They'll be tough to play. Because every year that you go over there, you're going to see DeMarcus Milners. You're going to see kids that
we saw them last year.
Kids that you wish were on your side skill-wise. This year they've got a Florida commit at tight end. Is that correct? Is he committed to Florida?
I'm not sure.
They got one of the top recruits in the state. He's about a 6'4". You remember him last year. About 6'4", 6'5" guy that weighs about 250.
Yeah, I was saying they've got players over there right now that are, and some running backs.
Let's put it this way. If I was a high school coach,
we'd love to go there.
And I wanted an opportunity to coach talent. You know, I'd love to go somewhere where I had something to work with year in and year out. Millbrook, Alabama would be one of those places that I would enjoy probably going to. 256-234-6464. Been a great first hour of the program. Brett, we're up against the top of the hour break, but I'd love to hear from you. Got a couple more minutes on this segment. Anything else surprising you in the first couple of weeks? High school football here in the state? Anybody that's jumped out like a Hewitt Trustful or a Gardendale?
Gardendale probably carrying over their momentum from last year and having a good season and doing what they did last week against James Clemens and then coming back. That's going to be a tough team to play. Anybody that's got them on their schedule, and you know they'll make another run in the playoffs this year. They've obviously got the pieces, and it seems like you can tell teams that carry over from one year to the next, and they've got returning starters. Man, there is no substitute in high school football for having a 2 or 3 year starter come back.
Did you expect Opelika to be as strong as they are in the early part of the season?
Yes and no. I mean, you know, we've seen that program now for a long time, and we know they lost a very good quarterback and a very good tailback. But I mean, like you said, it's who's walking the hallways. It's who you got in that building and who they have to pick from. and they have a lot to choose from, and they have a healthy program that's got a lot of interest and a lot of kids that want to be part of that. And when you have that, you just reload. I mean, Kevin Keel just talked about it when Dable was on their 6-year stretch there here in the last 6-7 years. They just continue. They lose great players, but you don't really get concerned about it because you know you're replacing them with another. Opelika is a handful. The problem with Opelika is, and I'm just going to be blunt about it, Opelika does this year in and year out. But when they get in the playoffs, they hit some type of stumbling block. And it's not necessarily their fault, but they run up against a team that a lot of times just has their number. And it's unfortunate. Can they get over that hump this year? We'll see. They're always dominant in the regular season, but they come up against somebody last year, a Spanish Fort down there. They just could not muster any offense, and a team that had scored tons of points all year. So they've got a mental hurdle to get over in the playoffs.
If they do, athlete for athlete, and in the classification that they're in, they could go on a run that you could be impressed with. And because they've got a tremendous track program. I think that helps them all the way around when you go and you play them. They got great speed. Closing out Auburn High School here in this segment, I don't know where to go with that one. I'm almost as surprised that Auburn is down as bad as they are as I am with Prattville. It's a head scratcher how it even gets to that point.
There's no excuse. I mean, a school that big, as many people that are moving into that area, and that are in a school that's growing the way that one's growing down there. I mean, this has become a common theme for us up here on Saturday to talk about how disappointing it's been for Auburn every Friday night by losing not just by a touchdown, but by multiple touchdowns, and struggling to have even a winning record. So yeah, there's some issues at some schools like Prattville and Auburn and some of these bigger schools that leave you just dumbfounded of why they're not winning football games and why they're not more competitive.
256-234-6464 is our number. We'd love to hear from you. Going to move into the College Blitz segment of the program. Our prediction today is Alabama and USC tiebreaker. Cooper Bateman passing yards. Gift that we'll give away every week this year, a $25 gift card to JR Sports Bar and Grill as you call in and get the closest. And you can find us on our social media outlets and give us a prediction there as well. 256-234-6464. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Y'all are clear.
Friday night, end of the week, and you're wanting something special for dinner. Well, it's time to go to Big B Barbecue in Alexander City for steak night. Friday nights at Big B Barbecue. Get a 12-ounce hand-cut certified Angus ribeye with a loaded baked potato and side salad for just $17.99. Every Friday night at Big B Barbecue. End your week the right way with steak night at Big B Barbecue. Friday nights. Big B Barbecue, 22 West in Alex City, just off 280. Cooking the best better since 1978.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com for your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank, banking on values. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Since the dawn of time, humanity has used tools like rocks, fire, and yes, the wheel. Then came the vehicle, but humanity wanted more. Behold, SNSDiscountTire.com. Pricing at a click. Advanced scheduling for all. The vehicle has achieved perfection at SNSDiscountTire.com or any SNS Tire location. For over 60 years, people in East Central Alabama have relied on the team at Jackson Refrigeration for the highest standards in heating and air installation and service. Now they've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration, and you can still count on their reputation to make your comfort their priority with quality Goodman products with the best warranty in the industry. Whether it's new construction or a complete unit change, Jackson Refrigeration and A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the go-to team for over 60 years, where your comfort is our priority.
It almost has to to be.
You can count on the caring
1 minute
team
to
at
intro.
Brown
Go down there
Nursing
and cut
and
a deal with somebody and
Rehabilitation
get
for
some
your
oil.
Yeah, I mean,
rehabilitation
you can get a
needs.
sponsor for this.
Our
I don't
services
care if
include
Lee
physical,
Marketing is
speech,
the sponsor
and
for this one.
occupational therapy.
This is
Brown
great.
Nursing and
Now, if you want to sell it around here for the prediction sponsor, for social media, and then y'all please go do it.
You can count on me.
Huge traction on that stuff.
Yeah, very huge. That's where we're about to start getting into that more. I mean, with this Kobe thing and then these prediction things.
The world is ever changing. Make sure your
show
choices are the right
30 seconds
choices. At
results.
Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of their national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of the 4 convenient locations: Alexander City, Childersburg, Talladega, and now in Millbrook. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success. CACC.edu.
Register now. Fall classes begin August 17th. This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at
Make sure you say like our
alexcitymarine.com.
Sports Blitz page and comment there. Though.
Y'all are live.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. As Brett and I are talking, coming back in, we're going to have a prediction, as we always have over the last 10 or 11 years. $25 gift certificate to JR Sports Bar and Grill. We'll go to the winner of this each and every week. Find us on our social media outlets. Make sure that you comment on the same thread, though, because in years past, we end up on multiple threads, including comments on our own personal pages, and it's hard to keep up with it, to say the least. So make sure to find our Sports Blitz thread out there on all of our social media outlets. Let us know your prediction. It's Alabama and USC tonight. Cooper Bateman passing yards would be the tiebreaker. Michigan already started up.
Yeah.
Football is here, Brett. Where shall we start here as we move into the College Blitz segment of the program?
Well, we started last night with a guy that is a definite Heisman Trophy contender, is already showing his worth to Stanford coming back. You know, Stanford opened up the season last year with a loss at Northwestern, and I remember how humdrum that football game was for Stanford. And, you know, McCaffrey didn't have a good game. He had 88 total yards in that ball game. That's rushing and receiving combined, and it showed last night. Not the case. He showed out. Obviously, last night being on a Friday night, that was probably a little bit better for them because they didn't get lost in the shuffle, and all eyes were on Christian McCaffrey last night, being able to run the football. He had a punt return. Was it a punt or a kickoff return that was called
punt
back?
Return.
It's a punt return call back where he made a phenomenal play. You were showing us on videos. We were headed home last night on Facebook. Just an unbelievable athlete, a great lineage and bloodline that he comes from. Obviously, his dad was an NFL player for a long time and a very good one. His granddad on his mom's side was the fastest man in the world, as you mentioned, back, 60 years ago. His mom was an Olympic athlete. So, yeah, man, he kind of had a genetic advantage going in. But this kid is very good. This is a season. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out for the Heisman Trophy, because you've got a guy in Leonard Fournette. We're going to see a guy up close and personal in Deshaun Watson today for Clemson. You got Christian McCaffrey. You got Dalvin Cook at Florida State. You got 4 or 5 really true phenomenal players in college football, and it's going to be depending on how their teams do this year.
Well, and let's stay with the running back position for both Auburn and Alabama, and I think that is we know we've got talent. We know we got top-tier talent, but going into the games today, you really don't know what you're going to get. You hope you know what you're going to get, but when you're talking about Bo Scarborough, I mean, take a picture. Let him off the bus first. I don't even know how to explain some of the photos of him, but we haven't seen him on the field. Kerryon Johnson, you and I have seen him since he was in 8th grade on the basketball courts for Madison Academy.
Yeah.
We knew he was an outstanding athlete. He's bulked up a bit. He's got a little special moxie, something about him, I believe. Both of those guys, along with several others that will have opportunities for both of those teams, it's kind of fun when you start the season. You know there's talent there.
Yeah,
it's not fun when you don't know there's not talent there.
No
and
doubt.
As an Auburn fan, we've had times where we weren't too sure. Back when you and I were in school, there were times where I go, who's going to be running back?
Yeah.
Not sure. we don't have to worry about that. There's plenty of talent. I'm looking forward to seeing both of those guys play.
Yeah, I am too. And, again, I think we were excited about Javon Robinson. Obviously, it didn't work out. And, that's the consequences. But, the thing that you don't realize as a person is when you mess up and you leave a team, not only, is that bad for you personally, but you leave the wake and everything of that you leave behind for the team. You really let your team down because they were looking to you to be a leader. So, both are going to have, both teams, Alabama and Auburn, fresh starts back there at the tailback position. So we'll see how it all plays out. But some tremendous upper echelon, top tier talent going to be competing for the Heisman Trophy. Obviously, this morning gets off a tremendous schedule of football that we talked about that'll carry all the way through Labor Day on Monday and to culminate with Ole Miss and Florida State. But you've got just tremendous game after game on TV today. Again, it just seems like everybody gets televised now with the way TV contracts are and all that. A local note here, we do want to mention for everybody that Tyree Gray will be playing for Murray State today at 2:30 against Illinois on the Big Ten Network. I just don't want that to get lost in the mix of all these high-profile games.
Don't worry.
So, well, I mean,
if you follow social, well, I know that it could easily get mixed.
It can.
For those of us that want to watch them.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We're going to find our way.
I know me and you are going to find a way. I just want everybody else to know out there in the area that they're going to have an opportunity to watch Tyree Gray possibly come out there. And, man, there's no telling what he's going to do today. I really don't know. But I wanted to run down a couple of these games, and we posted this morning on our Sports Blitz page. We want to encourage everybody to go out there and like our Sports Blitz page because we got a contest we're going to be doing every week up here and a lot of neat things that go on there. But you got West Virginia, Missouri. That game kicks off. It is already kicked off right now. It's just started on Fox Sports 1. You got Mississippi State in South Alabama that are playing right now as well. But the meat of this week or this weekend, Texas A&M, UCLA, LSU, Wisconsin, Auburn, Clemson, Alabama, USC, Florida gets off to a start against a nobody. But Georgia, North Carolina, there are some massive games in the SEC to start this 2016 season. Didn't even mention Ole Miss and Florida State again, but the Texas-Notre Dame game is huge. The Houston-Oklahoma game is huge. If you can't find something to watch this weekend, you just need to go and throw your TV out.
South Alabama with athletes that they're able to get. It's really down there in the Mobile region and that neck of the woods, but also here in the state of Alabama to be able to bring in guys that maybe just Auburn and Alabama just don't happen to offer. And we know the talent level's good at South Alabama, so that contest with Mississippi State, one of those question mark teams this season, Brett. Will you know a little bit more about them after this game tonight? I expect that we will.
Yeah, I think you will. I mean, because you obviously lost a tremendous quarterback, a guy that's just showing out in the NFL right now, but a team that's not predicted to do anything. So, yeah, we'll see a lot, and that's going to be a challenge for them. A very, very good football team that they're playing that don't need to take lightly.
256-234-6464. Our prediction for Sports Blitz this week is Alabama and USC. Go ahead and get those in, not only here on the air that you can call that in. Cooper Bateman, by the way, passing yards will be the tiebreaker, but also find us on our social media outlets, and you can respond there. $25 gift certificate each and every week to JR Sports Bar and Grill to whomever gets that one closest.
The first big boy game has kicked off. Oklahoma and Houston just underway. Oklahoma with the football. Driving down to the Houston 44-yard line. That game on ABC. Another game that's on right now, obviously, just getting started. Michigan and Hawaii is on ESPN. That Mississippi State, South Alabama game is on the SEC network right now. So the slate of this weekend has already started, and it'll just carry over into tonight with Alabama and Auburn on prime time. Alabama at 7 o'clock against USC, Auburn at 8 o'clock against Clemson. And, man, that's the only thing that's going to stink about being in the stadium for that is you're going to be trying to keep up with you just want to watch those games. You won't be able to see all of them.
We're going to start with Alabama in the next segment. Hope to have Luke Robinson online and hope to have Brett be able to catch up with him and have them talk about this big, big matchup. I heard a stat on the right end. I don't guess I realized that Alabama won more games at home than the Dallas Cowboys did last year at Texas Stadium with 2 victories. So can they continue that tonight? 256-234-6464. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Y'all are clear.
Have land and want to build? Need land and want to build? Your friends at America's Home Place have you covered. Without the outrageous per square foot cost of other home builders, America's Home Place of Opelika has over 200 floor plans with unlimited customizable options for size and luxury. Your land can be your equity. And now ask about our close to the lake lots. America's Home Place in front of USA Shopping Center in Opelika. For details, call 334-364-0058 or visit us online at americashomeplace.com.
Alex City Marine is already having a tremendous sales season of Landau pontoons, and with so many new boats sold, our used inventory is huge. Alex City Marine works on any make or model, no matter the need, with a quality service and repair you can count on. Alex City Marine is taking order for custom 17 Landau pontoons now, and new 16s are arriving weekly. For the best repair, service, maintenance, and sales on new and used boats, go to the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine, just
Call or visit MetLife agent David Chabot at 120 South Ross Street in Auburn, or call 334-321-7250. That's 334-321-7250. Your life is full of precious things. Make sure that you have them protected with the full family of MetLife insurance products.
1 minute to bumper.
Guaranteed lowest price. Higher advice. Retreat your night. Ice Motors. So many choices, new and used. Friendly service from our family to you. Guaranteed lowest price. Buy and advice. Ice Motors.
Harbor Point and Marina has it all for the lake enthusiast, and this spring is your opportunity to save big on Harbor Point Crest pontoons and Four Winds Bow Rider boats. Right now, get boat show pricing. Save big on our very limited 2015 models. Harbor Point is loaded with 2016 boats, and at Harbor Point, you can test ride on the water in a matter of minutes. Come see and save on new and used inventory, or get the best service in our shop. Get to the point at Harbor Point.
What you need to say?
They want.
Comment on the post.
Yeah. I know. Well,
y'all are live. Take it when you want it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee here with you till noon. College football weekend off to a grand start here, and we'll carry over into Labor Day on Monday and the culmination with Florida State and Ole Miss. But very own Luke Robinson on the phone with us as get ready for some big games coming up throughout the day. Obviously, Alabama, USC, Auburn, Clemson will cap it all off tonight. Luke, glad to have you on the program this morning, man.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Man, we're doing good, and high school football well underway. First thing we want to talk about before we get into Alabama today, Luke, is that we're doing something really neat for everybody, especially in the local area for Nicole B. Maxwell. You can follow it on our Facebook page and Twitter, and we're going to be doing like a journal of Nicole B's senior year. He is a highly touted recruit. Again, he rushed for another 150 yards plus last night, had four touchdowns last night.
Touchdowns.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns last night. So Nicole is off to a great start with over 300 yards rushing total here in the first 2 games. So we're looking forward to bringing that to everybody on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, I think we have in our broad area, two of the more undervalued recruits in the state of Alabama with Colby Maxwell and Jatarvius Whitlow. I've always liked Whitlow as a player, and Colby he was overshadowed by Tyree Gray. I don't think that that's a secret. I don't think that would be offensive to him saying that. And it's not his fault. It's just Tyree Gray had the ball in his hands every single time, and so he got the majority of the focus. But Maxwell is really an incredible player, and every time I listen to you guys call a game, obviously I don't get to see a lot of BRHS in person or on TV or the replays because I'm at the scoreboard show. But every time I listen to you guys call a game, it seems like it's just Maxwell doing something fantastic, and I know he's got to be a joy for y'all to watch. And I'm really looking forward to this. This is something that I've been wanting to do all summer long, and we finally have partnered up with Anytime Fitness. And so we will be doing the video, or what I'm calling a recruiting video or recruiting journal, or recruiting diary, however you want to say it. And Colby will just be going over all the details of his recruitment, the details of the season in general, what he does to prepare for games, his workout regimen, his nutrition regimen, all those things. So if you have any questions that you want me to ask Colby, be sure to tweet them or put them out there on Facebook for us at Sports Plus Live, and I'll be sure to get those out.
Yeah, Luke, that's going to be fun, exciting. We'll start that this coming up week. Houston, Oklahoma already underway, Luke. The first big boy game, Oklahoma already up 7-0 on Houston, looking like they're picking up where they left off last year in that playoff spot. So, but this is a full slate of games. You've been talking about it for over 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost anticlimactic for me now that it's here. I mean, I've been so excited about it, and now it's here. And I'll tell you, I mentioned this on Sports Call last night when I called in, that I was really disappointed in some of the crowds I saw in a couple of the games. Now, they weren't the most magical of venues. So Vanderbilt hosting South Carolina isn't exactly much must-watch television. However, I was disappointed in the fact that Vanderbilt didn't have a sellout. It wasn't even close. And then I saw the Indiana at Florida International, and I know Indiana and Florida International, but there were about 22 people there. And I mean, it was sad to see it because we've been waiting all this time for football to be back. Now it's back, and it feels like we didn't treat it the way we should have. But I'm watching the South Alabama Mississippi State game right now, and it's not a sellout. And again, I know it's just South Alabama if you're Mississippi State. However, it's not as if Mississippi State seats 80,000 people. They're in the SEC. They should be excited to have any team come in just for football to be back and to see their new quarterback, Nick Fitzgerald. But, right now, midway through the first, Mississippi State's had the ball twice and gone 3 out twice.
Yeah, a lot of teams, getting off, the first game of the season, man, you really start to kind of find out where you are, and you can't really get a grip of where you are until you get a couple of games in. So, that's why these games, playing high-profile opponents, matching them up, is so unique, and you see a glorified bowl weekend really is what this is, and somebody's going to end up with a loss in the column, and some expectations are going to take a hit. We can go down through this list. I mean, obviously West Virginia, Missouri on tap. And I saw something very interesting, Luke, that we haven't talked about on our Sports Blitz programming yet, but Missouri's enrollment is way down this fall at their college. And I mean, they've had to battle a lot of things in that state, and it's